Merry Christmas, everybody. It's that
Uh,
time of year. Today or tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's today that you'll see this is actually going to be Christmas. We're recording, we're not live. We wanted to spend a few minutes and give you some Christmas cheer. And we're going to start right after this. Welcome. This is the Life Enthusiast Health Shots podcast, restoring vitality to you and the planet. I'm your co-host, Scott Paton. Joining us, as usual, health engineer Martin Pytela. Hey, Martin, how you doing? Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you, and Merry Christmas to you and yours and family and children and pets, everyone.
Thank you. There's nothing really planned for this. I just wanted us to kind of, chat a little bit, talk a little bit about Christmas and that sort of thing. And of course, we have, as you can see all over, candy canes, which has got red dye number 4, which is not very good, refined sugar. And how do you not become a Grinch at Christmas, Martin?
Yeah, I have a hard time with it. Like I am weirdo. I am on the autistic spectrum, so I don't do social stuff well. Here's my thing. I live every day to the best of my ability, and I want to honor everyone all the time. So I don't have special days where I have to punch up and highlight further the fact that I want to be giving and gracious and considerate and the best husband I could be and the best father I might be and all of that, right? Like I do every day like that. So I don't really do well Christmas where I want to just go extra. I already feel like I'm doing all I can. So that's me. I'm sorry, I'm not particularly great at Christmasing.
Well, I think of this as a time when, family get together, and sometimes they're wonderful events, and sometimes, unfortunately, the interpersonal challenges that may be present rear their heads.
Oh man, I'm gonna Grinch on you now because I was just talking to an associate, and we just got talking about the things of the world, the conflict in Palestine, or in Gaza and whatever, and how difficult that is because there are these two parties at loggerheads completely obliterating each other. And then, of course, the conversation goes to the situation in Ukraine, which as of this moment remains unresolved, where we have, again, people who are cousins, brothers, and they're at each other's throat, bombing each other, killing each other. Just horrible difficulties. He says, I just got off the internet conversation with this friend who lives in an apartment in Ukraine, and they have lost their power. The temperature is just around freezing, so that'd be about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. In a downtown apartment, no hot water, no heat, no power, nothing.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, right? And on and on and on. So what I if I were to try and do a wish for anything, it would be, people, we have so much more in common that we have as differences, and the conflicts that we're having are artificial. We normally would get along. I'm sure I could sit down with the person that is completely thinking that I should die, and we should have a conversation in which we agree on probably 80% of all the topics that we would come up with. So my Christmas wish then, and New Year's wish, is then for people to grow up spiritually and find within them each other the understanding of just how dependent we are on one another on this planet. What do you want to say on that, if anything?
I think that we would all be far better off if we didn't have 80% of the people on some sort of drug. If it wasn't recreational and or big pharma. It just strikes me. Well, one of the headlines this week is a famous actor, comedian / director, Rob Reiner, and his wife were murdered by their son, who stabbed them to death. Now, I don't know that that's factual at this point in time. That's sort of what's been reported. And we won't know until, the trial and that sort of thing. But, what was the problem that the son had? Well,
he's been long. I saw an interview from 10 years ago where they're talking about how the family is trying to support him and that he's been living on the street and taking hard drugs.
Yeah.
And very lost. And the family tries to support him. I mean, how do you give up on your son, right?
Right.
And yet this not giving up on his son ultimately shortened his life.
Yep.
Yeah. This is so wild. Just like this conflict I started talking about, like Hamas says in their charter that Israel has no right to exist. So if the starting point of negotiation is you need to be gone, then the only response that I can come up with is, therefore, I must kill you.
Yeah, so you have this macro issue with these two large groups of people, and you have the micro issue with this family.
Yeah, and it's the same problem, right?
Yeah, it really is. And it comes down to not really understanding reality. There's
divorced from love.
Divorced from love.
A cancer cell loses its connection to the rest of the body. It perceives itself as isolated, as disconnected from the rest, and it sucks resources onto itself and tries to grow. And so there are more of these cells, more and more. It keeps growing. And it keeps growing because it somehow has lost its connection from the body that it's part of, and is essentially trying to destroy the body that it should join instead. I guess we're dealing with spiritual and cancer that is eventually going to kill the host. Right? The ultimate outcome of this fear-based disconnection from the rest of the body is the destruction of the body itself.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's definitely a group of people that want to kill a large group of people, and not just on a country-to-country basis. We look at.
We just watched this Australian event.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it possible that these two guys get in their heads that shooting at grandmothers on a beach is going to somehow make the world a better place? Like, how confused can it be? How more can you screw up? I mean, did the guys who are having this barbecue somehow deserve to die because what?
It's a tough question, isn't it? And
I mean, you don't even know these people, so you're shooting at a gathering that allegedly was Jewish, and you have an issue with Jewish, so you're shooting at the crowd, but you don't even know if you're shooting Jewish. Anyway, it doesn't matter. as if those people had anything to do with the problem that you have had. How is the guy who spent 27 years in Australia so frustrated with the society that he needs to attack it, sacrificing himself and his son in the process? Like that's cancer of the consciousness, cancer of the mind. I can't explain it to myself in any other way.
Yeah. It's part of the spiritual warfare that we are in, right? Like, I mean, there's good, there's evil, there's God, there's the devil, and it just seems like there's this group of people that, for whatever reason, right, I go down a bad path, whether it's the kid that killed his parents or the kid that gets onto drugs and all of a sudden can't be a functioning part of society anymore, or the homelessness that we have, or the distress and despair that people end up having. They lose their homes because of things that bankers do.
Yeah, weird. Well, so I have an interesting take. So this is playing on the 24th. The 20th of December, we had an interesting event where the new moon lined up with 0 degrees of Aries, lined up with the center of the galaxy. The interpretation of that astrological event would be sort of like, visualize the hands on the clock, and the large one landed on 12. Or the short one for hours, the one for the minutes landed on 12, and the one for the seconds landed on 12. It's all lined up, and
Right.
There's an opening, and that opening is pointing directly at the center of the galaxy, which to us would be the source, the center of the consciousness of this entire galaxy. That's where it is. So we open this aperture directly pointing at that. So the word portal comes to mind.
Right.
So 4 days ago, as you're listening to this, as long as the internet is still running, you have experienced this opening, and the source of all existence has started talking to us, had a chance to
Very cool.
send us a Christmas greeting, which then was immediately followed by the solstice, which then was immediately followed by the unfolding of our reality. So, folks, if you're listening to it and you feel somehow changed, uplifted, and filled with love and understanding, it may be coming from that portal. God knows. God knows.
Very cool. Yeah, it's a wonderful season, eh?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the possibility that this indeed just lit this little flame of understanding and compassion in every one of us, with the intention of getting along and supporting one another. Because really, we are all on this little lifeboat called the planet Earth that's just zooming around in space. And if for God knows what reason we feel estranged or alienated from one another, it's wrong. We all are in this together.
And Martin, that is the perfect point to end our Christmas greeting. I think you said it all and put a nice bow on it. So thank you so much for that.
Merry Christmas, Scott. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
My body's a temple, but the walls are cracked. Stuck in the rubble of the years I stacked. Stagnation in my veins like a river through the dust. Toxic whispers in the wind, but I gotta rebuild. I must.